chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
That takes us into the 3:30 slate on Saturday, and we've got a couple of picks here in Ole Miss Tulane. Al, you want to kick us off with your picks here?
Yeah, you're gonna give me more than a touchdown at home with the Tulane, the Green Wave? Is that what it is? Man, like, I don't care if it's Ole Miss coming to town. Tulane's good. They're gonna be good this year. Ole Miss, it's a one-trick pony. So I'm not only taking Tulane plus 7.5, I'm also taking the under 62.5 is what I got it at. Yeah, I don't think Ole Miss is gonna have what it takes. I think honestly, I'd probably take Tulane to win this game at home, but it might be one of those like they come up just short kind of thing.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more overreaction to Ole Miss the way they performed this week, putting up 70 points. This is the kind of things that have a tendency to move lines. I don't know what this line was originally sitting at, but I'm not surprised it isn't steamed up more than that.
This started at Ole Miss being a 3.5-point favorite, and it's moved to 7.5. And I was going to originally bet this game, but I backed off.
Love it. I'm with you, Al. I'm taking the 7.5. It's the counter better. You know what? If I'm gonna bet Colorado, I ain't gonna bet Ole Miss. Like I gotta right the ship a little bit. Let's take the points of Tulane, 7.5. You guys want to talk one of the big games of the week really quick? Texas A&M Miami. Did you see Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher already got in an argument? It's like it's clockwork. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that relationship was going to be a tempestuous one? Everybody.
I know who would have thought.
It was great. I am in. And they won by like 100, and they were fighting. I can't wait till things get tough. This may be, if you're going to the game this weekend, you may get to see like some personal fouls on the field and on the sidelines because it's gonna be sloppy. I'm very excited, but I don't know, Al, if you have any thoughts on the A&M Miami from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is, like, which coach are you more confident in backing? Jimbo Fisher at A&M or Mario Cristobal at Miami? Like,
Pass.
Neither of those guys. Yeah, like, so I'm just done. I'm not. Let me see what happens here, and then maybe I'll make some moves. But it's also like I don't like where the line's at. A&M -4 in Miami, like, or I don't like it.
Yeah. I didn't see any value there either. I was hoping it might be a closer number, and I could lay like 2.5 with A&M. But
yeah.
I know you don't like college football teasers. No, I was going to say, is this something you tease up? But no, it's not worth it because this game could get out of hand. College football games are hard to predict like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Miami blows out A&M. I think it's either a close one or A&M blows out Miami.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That doesn't really mean anything.
I'm excited. This is the Styles makes fights argument, right? Like Cristobal's going to run things an old school way. Jimbo only runs things a certain way. I'd be curious. It's like the unmovable force kind of argument. And someone's going to win. I'm going to be here to watch it. And it's probably going to be a dog shit game, but I'm here for my entertainment value. But if you want a really good game at the same time, you could watch Iowa State. Now that is going to be a barn burner, and I got to play for you on this one. There's been a lot of people, players of Iowa State, who have been kicked off teams, suspended, including their starting quarterback for gambling. And gambling is bad, kids. I want everyone to know that on the front end. We do not condone gambling. But if you were to gamble on this game, I would gamble that Iowa State team total under 17, which you can still get, is a good bet. And that's what I will be doing. Look, Iowa at some point is going to score points, but one thing is for sure, they play defense. Iowa plays defense. They're always going to play defense. That's just what Iowa does. Against a depleted Iowa State side, I love the under here. And the Cy-Hawk game is always a low-scoring game anyways because the two teams are built that way. So under 17 points for Iowa State's team.
So Matt, I think you were on the Utah State team
I got
total under last
hosed.
week, 9.5, and it looked so beautiful. They hadn't given up anything other than field goals until what, like a minute left, 2 minutes left, and then Utah State punches in a touchdown to go over. But I think you had the right read. Iowa just kind of took their eye off the ball for a minute there at the end.
They were up by 20. They were,
Mhm.
or no, they were up. They were up by like 17 at that point. Yeah, that was dog shit. I should have had that one, but I'm doing it again. Let's go. I'm gonna make this a play until I can't do it anymore.
Exactly. You don't want to overreact. You had the right play, and it just didn't work out for you.
Yep.
So speaking of your love of unders,
I really do like that play though, Matt. Iowa State team total under 17. Like I'm not going to ride your coattails here, but like I might actually bet that.
You should. Gambling is bad, kids, unless you're gambling against Iowa State. Then it's always good.
All right, Matt. Speaking of your love of unders, you want to take us to UTEP Northwestern?
I want to get something out of the way here, guys. I made an egregious mistake last week when I said take Northwestern +6. Because I got to the window or my phone, the window on my phone, and I made that bet. And then I was like, I should just take the under. There's no one's going to score. And the under was smooth sailing the whole game. It was like 44.5. I'm going to just do it again. UTEP, Northwestern. I don't see many points being scored here. Northwestern, I think, can play a little bit of defense, maybe. I don't know. I just don't see a lot of points being scored. I'm taking under 38.5, and I feel great about it, and I'll do it again. And I like what Andy's got as well.
Yeah, so I'm taking UTEP with the point. They're just a 1-point dog. But Northwestern shouldn't be favored over anybody. That's ridiculous right now. Any FBS school. So UTEP plus the 1 for sure.
Yeah, you both have my blessing.
Thanks.
Go in peace to Love and Sword.
It's good to know that UTEP in their first 2 games has scored 14 points against Jacksonville State, that was a really fun game in week 0. And they scored 28 points against, I don't know what school this is, UIW. So I don't expect a lot of points coming.
Incarnate Word?
Maybe.
It is Incarnate Word, yes.
UIW.
Incarnate Word Cardinals.
Okay, well, they've scored 42 points in those games combined. I think Northwestern's defense is going to probably be better than those 2, I hope. So I don't expect a lot of points, and I don't expect Northwestern to score. So under 39.5.
Yeah, I like that.
38.5.
So I've got the next pick, Western Michigan going into Syracuse. Western Michigan is getting 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking here. That's just too many points. Syracuse is the better team, but 21 is too many points.
I hate this bet. I hate it. It was originally 20.5, and I was going to lay it. And they got past 21, and I don't like it as much. But Godspeed.
I think Syracuse was my ACC team pick for our bad teams pool, and so I'm rooting for you here, Andy. I hope they more than cover.
Syracuse looked really good in their week 1 debut. They won 65-0, but that was against Colgate. Colgate is more known for toothpaste than football. Exactly. Just to keep us rolling here, Texas State going into UTSA. I'm taking the 11 points with Texas State. Try not to overreact in week 2, but Texas State looked really good. And 11 is too many points. So I'm taking the 11 there. Nobody wants to tell me why I'm wrong there?
No, I have no thoughts on either team.
All right. This might be the play that I hate the most this week. But I am taking 34.5 points with Tulsa going into Washington. Washington looked so good. So I don't recommend anybody follow me here, but my numbers just say I have to bet this. 34.5 is a big number. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one where, you get Washington on a fluky day, a couple turnovers or mishaps, and Tulsa can hang around, but this is more likely one that's dead at halftime.
No, this is the classic backdoor. Second string comes in. Tulsa needs to score some points. Washington's going to be up 28 points at half, and then they're just going to take their foot off the gas a little bit. I think that's what he's thinking.
Tulsa covers this while Michael Penix is sitting on the bench.
Eating a sandwich.
Yeah. Or a hot dog.
Not a sandwich.
All right, Chris, you've got our next play here. You want to take us down to the Carolinas?
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm taking App State plus 19 because Andy, you're in my head. That's just too many points. In my mind, App State is they're the small school that started all of the like the uprisings, when they beat Michigan. And then, next thing you know, Jacksonville State's beating FSU. I don't know. But I think that North Carolina played really well. And they're good. They did. But App State's going to come to play. I just think that 19 is too many points. They might lose by 14, but I don't think it's 19.
So that was my favorite bet of the week last week. I hated it the most when I made the bet, and I said it on here, but I loved North Carolina's performance. They were good on defense. What the hell? That was something I did not expect. They didn't need to go out and score 60 points. They were just a good team. They looked awesome. But I do think this is probably too many points. This may be take the foot off the gas kind of game too.
Yeah. So just to go back on that USC UNC game last week, I saw a picture. It was a picture. It wasn't live, but it looked like Mac grabbed the other coach by his throat. Is that what happened?
So I did see that picture. I don't think I think it was probably an accident. I know
he was gonna pat his face.
I don't. He's 1,000 years old.
Kiss him on the lip.
How's your mother? One of those things. And you just
hello to your mother for me.
I saw it. It looks really weird. It looks like he was about to throat slam Shane Beamer.
My favorite, anytime that Mac Brown comes up, I just always have to reference this. It's like a screenshot from a broadcast or a Sports Center or something, and it was North Carolina versus, I guess, Virginia Tech, or wherever Skip Holtz was at the time. And it's what would you do to get a win in the Duke Mayo Bowl? And Mac Brown was like, you could smash me in the face with a frying pan. I do not care. And I was like, it's just so dead. I just love it. It's that sums up Mac Brown. He's just there.
I love it.
For the existence.
Mac Brown is known as one of the sweethearts. I'd be very surprised if that was the day he just wanted to unleash on Shane Beamer's throat. But I hope maybe he's getting amped up. Defense does things to a man.
All right, Al, you want to keep us rolling?
Yeah, I'm gonna lay 15 with Oklahoma at home against SMU. I think Oklahoma's got something. I think they're cooking with gas.
They did cook with gas the other day, boy. That game got out of hand quick.
Yeah.
Butch Jones. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this. Butch Jones was crying on the sidelines, who's the head coach of Arkansas State, when they were getting absolutely destroyed.
I did not see
Is that a good look or a bad
No.
look? Is that football guy or opposite of football guy? Oh,
I'll tell you what it is. It's a look I want to see. Somebody send me that video. I need to see it.
Sorry, you were talking about it.
No, I never heard that. Matt, you should put a TikTok out there.
I will.
Tell the people. I think it's a terrible look. I know you want your coach to care, but crying is giving up. You want to care enough to get angry and do something about it. Caring enough to cry is just you're gonna sit in a puddle and let them keep wailing on you. I don't like it. And that might be a boomer.
Yeah,
take.
it's definitely a beta move, right? Your players are gonna lose respect for you. You're not gonna be the same guy anymore.
I do think it's important to note that Clemson just lost to Duke 28-7. Yep. So for anyone who's an ACC fan, I was talking about all the teams, the good teams in the ACC, right? The Cals, the Stanfords. Let's put Duke up there. It's a smart conference. You got Florida State up there with the academic prowess that's on par with all of them. Way to go, smart schools. We did it.
Cheers.
I don't know what that take was. It's more of a I'm happy for Duke. Fuck Clemson take.
I'm happy for all of us.
Yeah,
Sad
everyone
Dabo
wins.
makes me happy. All right, Sunshine, our resident Georgia, all things Georgia expert. Why don't you take us into the next one here?
I'm laying Georgia Southern, laying 6. Just they're, it's against UAB, but it's at home for Georgia Southern, and that team shows up at home. I'll go into it a little bit more. My next pick, they don't get the same recruits as they used to, but they're gonna hand it to UAB. I think by a touchdown.
I have no thoughts.
I don't either. I think
you guys should keep up with your Georgia football better.
I need to.
All right, Matt, I think the next one's on you.
This is hyper local, guys. Ohio FAU. I am going to just buy into the overreaction. Ohio is really bad without Rourke at quarterback. FAU's Casey Thompson, who played at Texas and Nebraska, and now is at FAU, threw for 5 touchdowns the other day. I just don't. I think there's the better quarterback's going to win this game, and I think it's going to win it pretty considerably. Ohio is bad without Rourke, and I don't think Rourke is playing, so I am laying the 5.
Yeah, you just convinced me. I realized that FAU is supposed to be good this year, so I'm gonna tell you on this FAU -5.
All right, I like it. All right, so the next pick we have here is North Texas, also coming to South Florida to play Florida International. Florida International did get their first win of the season this past weekend, 14-12 over Maine. If you can only put up 14 points on Maine, you're a bad football team. And North Texas absolutely got boat raced by ACC powerhouse Cal. Under. I'm taking the under. Neither of these teams is going to score enough to get 53.5 points.
I'm trying to pull some stats.
Yeah.
Go. I love that.
We talked about this before we hit record, right? That's really how do you only beat Maine by 2 points? How do you only score 14 against Maine? How do you give up 12 to Maine? I'm laying 12.5 with North Texas and taking the under with you, under 53.5. Like, why not? Let's do it.
Okay, so there's a really important stat here. There were 40 first downs in this game. 40. 27 of them were for Maine. 27 for MLU had 13 first downs. They had less than half the amount of first downs as Maine. They threw the ball for 292 yards, and I'm assuming one of them was incredibly long from the stats I'm reading. But you can't lose the first down battle to Maine. You can't do it. You can't do it. And that is.
So they were lucky to escape Maine with a W. Maybe they were distracted by the beautiful weather
of Miami.
Miami's
at home.
Oh no, sorry. Oh yeah, wasn't even in Maine.
Miami.
Jesus.
It was a home game.
Maybe they were distracted by the accents.
Right.
I don't know.
If anyone can guess the mascot, I'll chug this beer. But you guys can think about that.
For Maine?
Yeah.
The Maine?
The
Black
Fighting
Bear.
Stephen Kings.
It's the Black Bears. There you go.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have let the joke happen first.
Stephen King is the only thing I know about Maine.
The only thing you need to know.
Bahaba.
All right. If nobody else has thoughts on the juggernaut matchup of North Texas FIU.
I'm going to bet it, but I have no thoughts. Nothing good to add.
We'll move into a true juggernaut battle, our first primetime game on Saturday night, Texas at Alabama. I'll go first. I'm taking 7.5 with Texas. I think Alabama is going to have a down year, and while Texas got off to a slow start against Rice, Quinn Ewers looked really good once he kind of got his feet under him. So I'm taking Texas plus 7.5 to beat Alabama.
So you think Alabama's going to have a down year?
We talked about this.
Are you gonna bet against the sun rising tomorrow, Sue? What are we talking about here, Andy? Oh my gosh! I mean, so sure, I'm sure Texas is going to be good this year. But Nick Saban with slanderous trash talk and everyone doubting this team this year, I'm going to lay 7 with Bama. If they get smoked, so be it. But it feels like the right move.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Bama game the other day. I know they were testing a lot of the quarterbacks out, but it does look like Jalen Milroe will be the best option. He had a really good game. I mean, granted, compared to the competition, of course, he should have. I'm fascinated. I don't know what to make of Alabama this year. I know Andy and I were both down on Bama, and I was up on Texas. So let's see if I'm right or big old idiot. He's probably being an.
So here's a hypothesis I have, right? So last year, Bama's Achilles heel was the defense, right? They had a young defense, had to replace a bunch of starters. Defense, was put, to the fire early and often. The secondary, especially, was tested heavily. And while they held up on occasion, they were beat too often. They're giving up too many points. This is year 2. I don't think they lost anybody in the secondary. Well, actually, they lost Brian Branch, who's really fucking good. But I don't know. They've always got a stable. So my thought is the defense a little bit stouter this year. Fingers crossed. But I was mid-sentence there and realized Brian Branch was like their best player and he's gone. So I don't know. I'm still gonna stick with it.
Oh
Fuck it.
no, dude! I don't think there's a bad side in this game. It's going to be a great game. I'm really, really excited. Like these primetime games are lining up. You got Ohio State, Notre Dame in a couple weeks. There's some really good, interesting matchups before they get into conference play that are fun. This is going to be great one to watch.
All right. Back to our expert in the state of Georgia, Sunshine. What do you got for us?
All right, so I'm laying the points, laying 3 points with Georgia State, taking on UConn, which Georgia State's a young football program, but they're a growing football program. Like I was mentioning earlier, like Georgia Southern might not be getting the recruits they used to. That's because Georgia State's getting some of them, and I am, and like a lot of these bigger teams that we see play, there's some people that were at Georgia State under the transfer portal. Now they're playing for, I don't know, like Louisville's a great example. Georgia State's got some great players, and UConn, the Huskies, are coming to Atlanta to play. So I just, I think that Georgia State's going to show up at home.
I'm excited to watch this, actually. I have some passing fancy in it because UConn was better than I expected. And I always like to make a mockery of UConn and UMass, and looks like I can't do that anymore. But FIU still exists, so FIU, you're all mine now. This will be a fun game to watch.
Yeah,
it's actually funny that I have 3 different thoughts on this game. UConn, Georgia State, right? So thought 1 is our boy Sunshine goes 5-1, and all of a sudden he thinks every school in the state of Georgia is going to win this week. Okay, all right. Don't blow your whole bankroll in 1 week. All right.
Cover.
Yeah, not just win. Yeah, cover. Second, I kind of, like Matt was saying, I kind of liked UConn here when I was looking at the line, but I didn't pull the trigger, and that kind of speaks to Georgia State's come up here. And then I don't know if you guys are aware of who Georgia State's coach is, but I bet you the name will ring a bell. It's Bill Curry.
Really?
I think he's 80 right now. And I mean, maybe this page is outdated and he's been replaced since then, but I know he was the coach they brought in to start the team back like a decade ago or whatever it was. So laid a good foundation. So we'll see. I don't know. I like it. I wish you the best.
Oh, thanks. The three bets I've just made, it's all teams from the Sun Belt Conference, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I'm just switching sides,
You're a Sun Belt man.
Sunshine Belt Conference.
Yeah, you're almost redeeming yourself for calling me out on your first one.
No, I love it.
All right, Al. You've got the next one.
Yeah, Gus Malzahn is coaching UCF, and Boise State is bad. So laying 3.5. I don't care that there's a hook on it.
I don't. I mean, I'd
Go
like
for it.
UCF here. I don't think Boise State is that bad, by the way. I think they're going to end up being pretty good. I just think they got Washington. I think that Washington team is terrifying this year. That's a team no one seems to care about because they're like up in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, I think that's the right side. I would still 3.5 seems like the right amount. I'd probably lay it with UCF.
I don't usually like to use these terms, but that almost feels like a trap line to me. I would have thought it would be bigger with the way both of these teams looked previously, but
it was probably a pick-up
sure.
to start or something like that. It may have been more of an even line and it ballooned with overreaction week 1.
Yeah.
I don't know how much these lines have actually moved yet, because we do this early, so it might be that these lines will be moving drastically once you're listening to this. So
Yep.
just another good reason to listen to the podcast early when it hits.
Absolutely. All right, I got the next pick. I'm taking Rice plus 10 at home to Houston, although that's basically a home game for Houston as well. I bet against Houston last week. I lost, but I'm going back. I fade Dana. That's all I got. It's too many points. Rice is going to cover.
Yeah, we're hitting that 7 o'clock window. Andy comes alive.
I do have a lot of picks here. Maybe I'll just rattle a few of them off because my thought process is the same in all of these. I'm taking Arkansas State at home plus 21.5. That's too many points.
The crying Butch Joneses.
Yeah.
Crying Butch Joneses.
I didn't even know that, but I like this so much more now. And then I'm taking Charlotte on the road at Maryland plus 24.5. Maryland actually looked pretty good, but doesn't matter. It's too many points.
Charlotte was good last year, weren't they? Or maybe 2 years ago?
They're going to be really bad this year, dude. They're like, yes, they were good. They lost a lot of players. A lot of people graduated and transferred out. I don't see them being a particularly good team. That number seems fine. Like, if you think it's too many points, I get that, but I don't think they're going to win many ball games.
Yeah, they have a new coach too, I think, right?
Yeah, they had a lot of upheaval. Not like for a negative thing, just things that happen.
Yeah. All right, and then one more, too many points, and someone here is going to fight me on this, but Eastern Michigan going into Minnesota. Eastern Michigan is getting 19.5. I watched Minnesota deserve to lose to Nebraska. They won.
They did.
But they deserved to lose and to Nebraska. So Eastern Michigan is a step up in competition, and I'm taking the 19.5 points.
That's fine. I don't like to overreact too much to week 1. I think that Minnesota is considerably better. I thought Minnesota did a lot of things really well in that game. I actually like their quarterback once he gets a little more seasoning on him. I think he's going to be considerably better. And I think it would have been a big benefit to play this game first before Nebraska, and he would have looked a lot more alive. I do think Minnesota is going to come out and look better. He's going to spend a couple PJ Fleck bucks, get himself a win of 3 touchdowns.
The battle of the wholesome grading accents.
Yep.
All right, Matt, you want to keep us rolling?
Yeah, I lost the sheet. Oh, yeah.
Arizona at Mississippi State, you've got to play.
Yeah. Take Mississippi State. I do think this is going to be a painful year for Mississippi State, and I'm really hoping Arnett, I think, is the coach. I really hope he ends up holding up because I know this is going to be a big transition for Mike Leach. I just like this spot a lot. Arizona going to Stark Vegas and trying to play there. I think it's going to be a big eye opener. I love the line at 10 points. Lay them with Mississippi State.
Yeah, I don't know if the players have changed much, if there's a lot of turnover or not. But I assume you put a Mike Leach disciple in position to coach as Mike Leach in a sort of win one for the Gipper type situation, and you've got a bad Arizona team coming to town. That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I love this one right here. I know it's tricky. 10 points may seem like a lot, but they look good. Granted, who did they play? I forgot. They played Southeast Louisiana, right? So everyone looks good, but they have a good offense, and they have a senior loaded team. So they just need to right the ship, get through the year. I don't think they're going to be good when conference play goes around, but I think they're better than Arizona.
Does
And
Arizona still?
Delorier is my favorite quarterback, Arizona, because he does remarkable things and does terrible things.
I was just gonna say, doesn't Arizona's quarterback have a fun name? Yeah, Delorier.
Delorier is so fun. Watch
Better hope
that
he doesn't
game.
have that. You better hope he doesn't have that sports almanac from the future.
Oh,
Driving a Delorier.
fix the flux capacitor. No, he'll throw an 80-yard bomb and then throw like a shovel past the other team. He's the best. He's what makes college football great.
Nice. All right. I've got the next two. Same principle for both of these, so I'll just rattle them off again. Temple going into Rutgers. Temple is getting 10 points, and I'm taking all of them.
I love that play. I may join you on that one.
All right. I appreciate that. It always makes me feel better when Matt likes it. So, and then my next one is San Diego State plus 13.5. I don't like this one nearly as much. UCLA looked pretty decent, but 13.5. I wish it was 14, but 13.5 is too many points. So, San Diego State getting 13.5 at home.
I feel like the hook gave us last week, and the hook is.
That is possible. We did sweep Coastal Carolina plus 14.5 on UCLA with that hook. So, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we're rolling it out there.
Are there any other of these 8 p.m. later games that are worth touching on besides the last pick here that Sonny's got?
You guys want to talk about Nichols at TCU? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I was interested in a couple of the really late ones, but we can get there in a second. I'll let Sonny take us home.
Oh, Florida State Southern Miss over 52.5. My reason for this is it's fucking Florida State. I want to watch a great game. I mean, I want to watch them score points. That's what I want. But also, I think that there's some things on our offense that we could work on. A little ironing out before we go into our a tougher part of our September. And I don't foresee Norvell necessarily like benching players.
So no, it's actually interesting, Sonny. There are a lot of talks of load management for certain players. There's a guy named Fabian Lovett who's our starting nose tackle. He'll get drafted next year, but a lot of people in the brass think he's only going to play 4 games this year, just get his draft stock a little bit higher, and he's only going to be playing in the big ones. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Keon Coleman may be in a similar boat because they just want a little more tape out there. Yeah. But I think you're on the right side because the idea here is Jordan Travis is going to play for 2 quarters. And then they are going to roll the ball out. And they have an upcoming next year is going to be a big headache for Florida State. They're going to have a lot of seniors graduating and a lot of people moving on. And they have to figure out what the fuck the future looks like. So I'll be interested to see how they handle that. If it's going to be Rodemaker or if it's going to be Brock Glenn taking the next snaps. It's going to be, if you're a Florida State fan, this is going to be a fun game to watch. If you're not, don't watch it. Just watch something else.
It does sound like a number that Florida State's probably going to hit on their own. But they might have to hit it on their own.
They may. Yeah. But my point is, I think you're going to see aggressive offense the whole game because there's going to be people who have something to prove.
Yeah, Norvell's not going to take his foot off the gas. No. More what I'm saying.
I got you. Are we doing any dirty midnight clawbacking on Saturday in Hawaii?
I think there is an interesting one if I can bring it up. The line puzzles the crap out of me. It's Oklahoma State, Arizona State. I think Oklahoma State is only a 3.5-point favorite. I know it's at 10:30. I know it's in the land of the dead sun or whatever the hell Arizona is called, like the Lion King graveyard, the elephant graveyard. There you go. But that line seems suspiciously low. I know Oklahoma State didn't look great their first game. Arizona State did not look great. They almost lost to Southern Utah. Like, it was close. And I know they have Jalen Rashada as their quarterback. They're growing. They're going to be a young team. They're accepting to lose this year. That line is stinky.
And I feel like I'm going to be doing some seriously irresponsible chasing on these last 4 games. All these 10:30 starts.
Yeah, because there's a couple other decent ones in here too, right? Stanford, USC.
Yeah. Auburn, Cal, and
Auburn Cal's gonna be a good one.
I looked long and hard at taking the points with Stanford, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think 2 weeks in a row, Danny has taken the points against USC, and he's lost both of those. And so that's kind of got me scared away from this. But I really thought about taking Stanford in the
like
points.
Auburn's got to be like a close to double-digit favorite against Cal, right?
Yeah, and it's in Berkeley, which is like the opposite of a home field advantage because there'll be like 37 people there. But I don't know what to do with that. Auburn looked good. Hugh Freeze is going to be a good
6.5.
coach.
6.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stinky. Those games smell bad.
Probably because Cal looked really good.
I know. I'm probably going to take the Auburn side. I feel like that's like a principal play at that point.
But it feels like, I don't know. It's going to be one of those late night chases that I probably regret, but it'll be fun to watch.
I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to take Auburn and lay the 6.5 here. I do feel like
locking that in as a pick.
Yeah, I think so. This is just a principal play. It's under 1 touchdown, right? So if we get a touchdown, it's a win. I do think Auburn's going to be the more talented team. I think Cal may have been a little bit lucky to play the way they did, and I don't think it's going to translate as well. 10:30 is the scary part to me, but screw it. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody want to talk about Albany going out to the island or?
I did say Hawaii. Hawaii's only wins last year were at home, so feels good that feels like a good spot for Hawaii to beat Albany.
There aren't any lines out yet because that's an FCS team, so those will come out like Thursday or Friday. But yeah,
I'm not going to bet it. Well,
if you're still awake at midnight, you're definitely betting it for sure.
I'm going to be chasing that. This late night window looks really fun. Yeah. Stanford, the ACC big conference matchups with Stanford, USC, and Auburn, California. I'm excited to see the ACC play at 10:30. I'm in for it.
This might be. I mean, I guess the teams are still out there, but like this late night chase window might be the last year to really get to like soak it in, you know.
So I was listening.
A lot of these West Coast teams are going to have to be traveling east a lot.
I was listening to Cover 3, and they were talking about the idea of why they got rid of the Pac-12, and they're just like, all we care about is that 10:30 window. So I do think you're going to always have a good 10:30 window, so people are always watching, because it doesn't make sense to pay a conference when all you want to do is fill a window. So with that being said, I think you will always have USC UCLA game on the West Coast. There will always be a Cal or Stanford game on the West Coast. And then somewhere else in the Big 12, so they can always fill up those windows, which would make it fascinating. And I hope it continues, because I need my window. I need my 10:30s.
Vegas needs their 10:30 window.
Yeah, that's where dum-dums like me spend I invest my money.
Vegas is going to be like, whoa, let's reestablish the Pac-12. Like, they're going to put the
the good thing is you can watch Stanford USC on Fox and Auburn, California on ESPN. So I think Oklahoma State, Arizona State's on that dreaded Pac-12 network that only 47 people have. So that one you won't be able to watch.
That one you'll have to go to your local Shell station and find.
You have to buy a Chipwich ice cream sandwich, and then it comes with it.
It comes with a free Arizona iced tea.
No, wait a second. Sunshine, give out your drinks. Give out your drinks. And we didn't do our favorite picks.
That's true.
Gotta lock in our Chuggies. Which also, by the way, how did we fare on those this past week? Did anyone
you and Sunshine both hit yours, and nobody else did. So Sunshine's got 3 drinks to give out, and there's 1, 2, 3 of us. So
yeah,
cheers, boys.
Sunshine, tell us about your favorite pick this week while we're drinking.
Oh, I mean, I'll take the FSU over. I'm not like my other picks. I'm just kind of like trying something with the Sun Belt Conference there.
Love it.
Yeah, and the other one's Deion Sanders, and I'm not going to bet a Chuggy on that. 52 and a half points. All right.
All right. Matt, you have your favorite Chuggy to pick out?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do FAU -5. I'm going to lay the 5.
All right. Al?
I think I'm going to go with Vandy Wake under 58.5.
Okay.
I wanted to go with Colorado, but I'll stick with the under. That's a fun one.
All right, and I am going to take the under in North Texas FIU under 53.
That's such a fun one. That's such a bad fun one. Oh man.
Yep. I can't wait to watch and root for incompletions and tackles for a loss.
So
That's
bad.
my favorite.
13 first downs. 40 against Maine. Unbelievable.
All right. Thank you to everyone who stuck with us for our 2 episodes of college football there. Lots and lots of picks. We are definitely going to rebound from last week with a bunch of winners here. We'll put additional picks out on TikTok if any numbers move and we like something we didn't like today. We'll see if we can get Danny to put some of his picks out there. I'll definitely have a money line round robin. So follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're putting out a ton of content this year. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Good night, Kent.
Good night, Joey.
Good night, Joey.